everyone, good afternoon. It's September 12th, 2020. It's opening day of early bow in New Jersey for some zones like 2 and 6, right?
Yep.
This doe we're about to cut up was taken from zone 6, right?
Yep.
Near Sparta. This is Shawn's deer. So we're going to show you a down and dirty version of basically skinning and quartering. So I got this gambrel here. What we do, you'll see there's hooks on either end. So on your deer, behind the bone here, between the tendon, you got this flap of skin. So what I like to do is you just come through there and make yourself a hole. Same thing on the other leg. Now you got to be careful not to cut these two parts because then you'll get a floppy leg and it just doesn't hang nicely. So, get one hook through the leg. Get the other hook through the other leg. Just start hoisting. Alright, so now that we got the deer up, what you see here that I've got is one of the legs has been cut around the hide. You can see here a little better shot of it. So I cut around the hide to expose, the muscle underneath. You get around this tendon. Again, you got to be very careful not to sever this tendon, otherwise this leg's going to flop and it's just a pain in the butt. So you come around the leg here until you have it open like a collar around it, cuff, and then you come down here to create this opening. And eventually it's going to come off. You'll see there's a lot of connective tissue behind it. Now you could spend time basically as you put your edge against that tissue, it just comes undone. You want to have a nice sharp edge on your knife. But what you can do is, let's see if I can do it to the other side. Once you get it down a good deal, you can just start peeling. So it's basically a process of peeling, cutting away the hide. All right, so you go, as you peel down the hind quarter, you cut the connective tissue, right? Your edge right at the junction between the tissue and the hide, and it just comes away. It's like tissue paper. So we'll jump back to this leg, try to get them both to a equal spot. And then once I get these down far enough to about the waistline, both legs, you just hang on the hide and you could basically peel it down. So now we're around the tail. And you should be able to just go down pretty much the rest of the way. Ready? Roll. Okay. Over there. All right. Just cut any tissue that's holding it on there. And it comes off like a, like a reverse glove, basically. All right. So what I got now is the other leg. I'm going to come in above the shoulder. You can feel that plate there. Just follow it down. You also want to be careful your back strap ends here, so you don't want to chop into your best piece of meat. Yeah. So hang on to the leg because as you go, it's just that tissue is gonna pull right apart. There. All right. 2 front quarters. Make a nice coat rack or a gun rest. All right, what we're going at now is the back strap. Best piece of meat. Basically, you're going to find the spine of the deer, and it's going to be a cut along the spine, and then you're going to come in at the ribs, and you're going to come in this way. But pretty much once you expose the tip, a lot of people will just pull it right out. So you can see now, what you start to see is, here's your spine, here's your rib cage. So basically, just start separating it all the way down. And you can pull on it, but with my luck, it'll separate and it'll screw it up. I just like to take my time. Keep it going all the way down. I always pre-cut the spine because then all we got to do is pull and cut away at the rib portion. You ever cut up a deer for someone? I like to explain to them that this is the worst cut of meat on the deer. And what you need to do is get it off immediately and put it into a cooler. And I even offer to squirrel it away for them so it doesn't taint the rest of the deer.
Sure.
So that's a backstrap right there.
Beautiful.
America. All right, so another excellent cut of meat is your inner loin. Basically that sits right there on the deer. There's two of them, one on the left, one on the right. Now the inner loin is similar, where you find the edge of the spine, you just cut away at the tissue that's connecting it. And you see, it almost pops right out. And again, you'll feel a hard surface. Now you're at the back side of the spine now. You feel that hard surface there. That's what you're cutting against. The inner loin basically, again, peels right out, but it's such a fine piece of meat, and depending on the size of the deer, it's a small piece of meat. You don't want to screw it up by going too fast. So, first few times I ever field dressed a deer, I mutilated the crap out of the inner loin. I didn't even know they were in there. I was just pulling entrails and meat left and right. So there we go. Another inner loin. All right, so I skipped ahead a little bit to get to the hind quarter. Basically what you do is you want to follow your bone structure from the pelvis side, the underside of it. Same thing from the spine. What you're trying to do is get down to that ball joint and basically expose. You got your whole hind quarter here, and here's the ball joint. And there you go. You got a hind quarter. So what I did here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start just behind where the tailbone ends. Start cutting along the spine. Just basically follow the bone structure. There we go. All right, a few hind quarters. Next, what I'll do is, if you have a sawzall or a hacksaw, basically you just want to get it above the joints here, above the joints, and then you got two hind quarters that you could bone out. Front quarter number 2. So now we got 4 quarters, 2 back straps, 2 inner loins. That's a wrap.